Mathematics is the science that studies quantity. There are 10 categories of being. According to Aristotle, we have substance, we have quantity, quality, relation, place, all the categories that you see on this slide. Quantity is just one of these areas of being. So anything that you encounter in the world, you can look at it from one of these aspects, one of these areas of being. If we were to look at an apple, we can look at an apple in terms of activity, in terms of location, in terms of passivity. If somebody is taking a bite out of an apple, we would say the apple is being acted upon. That is looking at the apple in terms of passivity. We can also look at the apple in terms of quality. The apple is red. Red is a quality of the apple. Notice these are all areas of being by which we can examine some physical object. Now looking at this apple on the screen in terms of quantity, mathematically looking at this apple, we can say that there is one apple. What that means is that you are looking at the body that is in front of you in terms of quantity. We are looking at a mathematical body. You're using your mind to abstract the quantity of the physical thing that you see in front of you. This is how you first learn about numbers. Numbers only make sense in the beginning when they are attached to some physical object. So when you learned about the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, you were associating those numbers with some physical object like an apple or lemons or cherries. So looking at this apple, what can we say in terms of quantity? We can say that there is one apple. Notice that you can comprehend the idea of one and you don't need the apple anymore. You just need the number, the concept of one. You can abstract the concept and now you can calculate and you can manipulate that number with other numeric concepts. Here's another example. We have two apples and we can abstract the concept of one from each singular instance of an apple. Furthermore, we can formulate the concept of two. Now, some philosophers like Plato and Pythagoras will begin to think that these concepts exist on their own apart from the material thing. That is, the physical apple itself and even the mind. While the more reasonable position from Aristotle and St. Thomas Aquinas maintains that the numerical concepts, while they exist immaterially, that immaterial existence is only in the mind. But that mathematical concept also points to a physical existence, but it is only a partial manifestation because there are two apples here that you can see. The two itself is apart from the apples, but there is a physical reality there concerning the concept of two because there's two apples. So the concept of two is real. It is really in your mind, but it is only partially represented in the physical reality because you can't see the number 2 itself. The number 2 only makes its manifestation in the physical reality of the apples. I want to point out one of the problems with viewing things only with a mathematical lens and making very general declarations about reality only based on mathematics. This is quite common, especially in the field of modern day physics, which is heavily based in mathematics. When someone looks at one or two apples, a human being can fully grasp that they are apples. But what about 100 or 1,000 apples? Look at all those apples in this basket. Can you grasp that all of these are apples just by looking at them? In order to know how much apples are in this basket or in all of these baskets, we are going to have to use numbers that are bigger than 1 and 2. If we just see 1 or 2 apples, that's easy for our mind to comprehend because we can see it. Even 3 or 4 apples, but all these apples in the basket, it is not immediately evident how many apples there are. The point is that the more precise the mathematics becomes with large quantities of numbers, the less total knowledge we have of the physical thing the math is attempting to describe. So if we say there are 153 apples in these baskets, we cannot comprehend what all of those apples look like. But if there's only 1 or 2 apples, the qualities of those apples are clearly seen. Also, mathematics is about precision. The precision is based on quantity because that is the focus of this science. And the more precision that you have, there is less context available. Now, why is that? It is because the more precise the investigation is, the less you can look at the context or the big picture. So while mathematics and the other mathematical sciences use precision to get information very accurate and to give an accurate account for whatever it is they are studying, we have to be cautious of scientists or anybody whose knowledge about something relies solely on one aspect of reality. In order to make the point, what if I said that I had a friend named Bill, and you asked me about him, and all that I can say is that he's 193 pounds and he's 6 feet 1 inch tall? Would you say that I had a good knowledge of my friend if that's all I could say about him? Of course not. Why? Because I only gave a mathematical description. I only used basically one category of being, quantity. I have not told the full reality of who my friend is. So you would even conclude that I don't really know my friend or know my friend well. So mathematics offers an important aspect of being, but it is only one aspect of the reality that we see around us.